Woke up this morning, the sky was gray. Another storm, another endless day. Thought I was drowning in the deep.
So, welcome to Quick Start Sudowrite in non-English languages. My name is Dahlia, and I've been using Sudowrite since March 2023 to plan, write, and revise my novels. I write primarily in German, and my main genres are fantasy and queer romance. I'm very excited to be hosting this session alongside Manon, Doucet, a passionate writer and teacher from Canada. And before we dive in, Manon, why don't you introduce yourself quickly to everyone?
So yes, hi, this is Manon Doucet. I'm a published author. I write in English and in French. I do use all the technology to be able to listen to all the other language, and if I can answer them at the same time. When you have a class that they all disturb you in the same time. Sorry about that. So
Yeah.
I'm one of the oldest teacher, as far as I know, in that left in Sudowrite. So that's on my 4th year with them. And well, I'm still here. I love it. I'm using it, and I teach it. What else can I say?
Okay, awesome. So let's first set a little bit the expectations for this class. These quick start sessions are designed for those who are fairly new to Sudowrite or returning after a long break and want to get up to speed. This is more of the basic level where you learn step by step the essentials to start using Sudowrite's features in your language. And while we have some topics prepared, this class is focused on your questions so that we can tailor it to your current needs. So don't be shy and drop everything you want to know in the chat. So that we can help you in the best way, we'd love for you to answer 3 quick questions. First, what languages are you writing in? How long have you been using Sudowrite, and what your biggest pain points with Sudowrite are currently? Just drop this in the chat so that we can work with this. And while you do this, I'll give you a basic little tour of Sudowrite and how to use it in your language to get you up to speed. Let's jump right over here to Sudowrite. As you may have noticed, Sudowrite, or AI in Sudowrite and in general, tends to default to English in a lot of the basic features. The reasons are simple. For one, most of the training data is in English, and therefore English is the language it understands best. Additionally, Sudowrite uses background prompts to steer the AI in a direction where the output is more usable for fiction writers. Therefore, the tools may revert back to English unless specifically told otherwise, because it just got a lot of content and context in English. So it's important to use some form of language anchoring. And the magical prompt you'd want to use for this and would want to jot down is this little write all content in your language. This prompt is specifically helpful in the story Bible that you find below here. For this project, the story Bible is empty, but generally you would put this in your brain dump, your genre, your style. And once we have a synopsis, you would also put this at the bottom of the synopsis. Since that way, the prompt gets read whenever the story Bible generates any form of content for you. In general, the story Bible is the place where you store all your story information. Starting from your early ideas of a genre style, the essential summary of your story, your characters, world building, and outline. And since it can be a little bit fickle when it comes to generating text in non-English languages, this prompt can be a real lifesaver. And of everything we tried so far, it's the one that works most reliably. And now I'm kind of curious what it will do if it just say write our content in your language. Like what will the AI do when I tell her that? But who knows? But this prompt is something that you can either, as I said, put in the story Bible. You can use it for the write button, which is another nifty tool by putting it here in the key details, like this. And you can also use it when you highlight text to tell rewrite which language it should rewrite your text in or describe. Since these tools without some further prompting tend to fall back to English. Okay. Ukrainian. I tried to learn Ukrainian on Duolingo, but I gave up after a week, so I sadly can't say anything anymore. But we can go and try this in Ukrainian. Then I will sadly not be able to say if this is any good, but you hopefully can tell me it's your language and replace it with Ukraine. Oh, Ukraine. Now I'm not sure if I have the I at the right place. I have to double check. Yeah. Replace all. And something nice about this search and replace is that you can also use this in the story Bible, which is great if you, for example, change the name of character and you don't have to manually go through everything. The only thing that's not automatically changed is the key details, so you would have to make sure that this is always adapted. Yeah, premium. Before we go on, there's a newly released feature that I just wanted to point out in case you're working on a story that you have started before. And that is the new import report that you will get when you import a document. I haven't tried this for anything in German yet, but I thought, why not try this out with a famous, but a little bit disturbing children's book called, it's a famous story called the Struwwelpeter, full of fun stories about kids having their thumbs cut off, starving themselves to death, or accidentally burning themselves alive. It's an educational book in German. Don't ask any questions why we have books like that. But it's kind of infamous, I think, for traumatizing a lot of children. And I'm curious how Sudowrite would evaluate this when we give this to it. I just have to find it where I put it. Yeah, and I'm just gonna drop it here, our Struwwelpeter, and it will import it. This may, since it has 9 steps, should probably take a little, oh, it's going faster than I thought, but it would still probably take a little while, and we can just head back into a document while this is importing. And while we wait for this to finish, let's move to the write button to play around with a few different settings. Something great about the write button is that it's an easy way to play around with different AI models and to test how well they would perform in your language. Short question, Volodymyr, do you know how the write button works already? I'll just give you a short little overview.
I had a glimpse yet already, but I won't mind going over it again.
Okay, then I give you a short-ish tour. Since I usually teach write blocking classes for a whole hour, but we just stick to the essentials. The write button essentially is a tool that continues the text before it. You can either use auto write or guided write, depending on how much of guidance you want to give the AI. Auto write will look at the story and then, given the context, decide on its own how to continue. While with guided write, you can give it a prompt. In the write settings down below, you can choose how creative write should be. And in this context, creativity translates to how much freedom the AI has and the way it interprets your command. Like least means it is writing very closely to your prompt, while with most it would take a little bit more of liberty and freedom and may come up with very unexpected things. So it really depends on what your intention is and how much surprise you're happy with in your story development. I know a lot of people who prefer to have it on least because they have quite a good idea on what they want to have and don't want to play around with the output they get. You can also choose the number of versions you get, how long the output should be. As said, you can give it some key details, for example, in our case, for language instructions. And you can choose a lot of different models. And the thing that's important for us is mostly if it has multilingual checked or not. A model like Muse will, well, I can't say it about Ukrainian, but I know it will write German, but not as good as it could be. So it's okay-ish, but excellent is really good with German. Therefore, it got a little multilingual check mark. Same with basic. And here under advanced, you will find a few newer and more experimental models, a few older things that got retired at some point. And I'm surprised that fastest is still here because this is a model that I think is over 3 years old. At least I think it was already there when I joined 3 years ago. And what is balance doing here? Anyway, and you can just go through this and see if it has this little check mark, and then you can try it. The check mark is a good indicator, but in some cases, like I think this one, when I tried the Kimi K2, there were some issues with language output in German, like surprise Chinese characters showing up. And with Chinese characters, I don't mean characters like really in the writing and not like a character who was Chinese, which is something you often get in. We often get the Marcus Chan in Excellent because AI has its favorite characters. And anyway, checking for this little thing is a good indicator. And other things you can see here is like the prose quality a model has, how well it is at following your instructions, how unfiltered it is. And unfiltered in this context mostly means whether it is willing to write violence or sex without clutching its pearls and being all, no, 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 this is not possible. So depending on what you write, this is important for you or not. And this gives you an estimate on the credit usage. They cannot actually give you a number here, since it's all relative to how much input you have, how much output you want to have. But it's good to compare different models between each other. If you have any model you want to try, feel free to drop this in the chat and I will just run a test with it. Oh, Grok is not multilingual. I haven't tried it yet, but I was like curious to see how it would work. But let's see if there's something. That's fun. Okay, if you don't have a specific model to try out, I would just go with excellent, because at least right now, excellent is the best thing, in my opinion, for multilingual writing. And I'm saying right now because they sadly have to change the base model since this is going out of service. Anthropic is taking this away from us. So we just have to hope that we'll come up with a better model. Or they'll find one that's equally good at writing multilingual stuff. Yeah, ChatGPT works really well in, I think, all languages I ever tried it with. But the same is also true for the Claude models. And for Claude, I think, especially when it comes to creative writing, that they have an advantage compared to the ChatGPT models. Maybe we could try out, I don't know, this sonnet and see how this works. Because this will definitely stick around for a while. And I just that we know what this is. And to try this, I will be using a short little prompt I prepared and put it here into guided, right? And I also will, oh, there's the chat. Put it here into the chat. Since I like to use this prompt structure to give the AI a little bit of guidance, give it a task, a tone, to tell it what it should include in the stuff it's writing. And then I just reinforce once more which language I want, especially if in this case, so that we all understand what the prompt is. Ukrainian. And I have it in English. And like in this case, since this month's theme is comedy, I ask you to describe a workplace conversation that slowly spirals into absurdity and use a lot of dry humor that is played completely straight and includes some misunderstandings and escalating stakes. And then write our content in Ukrainian. And all we got to do is just hit go, and it will start writing. In this case, it will be looking at, I think the only thing it will be looking at right now is the POV and tense. That's linked to a document, like third. Oh yeah, and it's also looking at genre and style, since I put write in Ukrainian genre and style. And the third person limited, past tense, and and credits. And while I have no idea if the only thing I can read is hi, I'm not even sure if this will be read as hi in Ukrainian. But I think from what I learned from Duolingo, it does look like it's Ukrainian. Hi.
Actually, it stands for no.
No, okay. How sad. But otherwise, does it look like Ukrainian? I mean, good Ukrainian to you?
Actually, very good.
Okay, so maybe Sonnet 4.6 is a good contender. And I'll just give this to you so that you can take a look later on. And since it's already halfway through and Manon also had stuff to show, I just gonna check if our Peter is finished. And to see. Ooh. And as you can see, it splitted everything into individual chapters automatically. Okay. It's really disturbing. And it gave us a genre, children's literature, cautionary tale, a synopsis, and the characters. But this is funny that it did turn Friedrich Grimmstern. I'm not sure if the character actually has a last name in the book, but it just made something up, which is kind of fun. But what you also can see, it by default, it will still fill everything out in English if you import it. Since it's a little bit fickle, it can help to add prompts in it, like the magic prompt with write all content in your language. But I haven't figured out a way that works 100% of the time for import. But in general, it doesn't matter that much what language the story Bible is in or the content you're writing in the end. But let's see if it, I got there tons of characters and some. Oh my God. And like Struffeldorf is not a thing, but it's funny that it made this up. The whole culture of Struffelpräterien culture. This is actually, it's a sad thing that I cannot share this whole story Bible easily because this just sounds hilarious. But the great thing is that we now have like this import report at the beginning with some executive summary, high-level feedback. You put together a highly memorable, striking collection of vignettes. Thanks. I mean, diagnostic deep dive. And you get had recommendations what to change over in the various things. And what's also great is that you get this next steps that tells you how you could use Sudowrite's tools to tackle all the revisions, like use chat, expand, or rewrite, brainstorm, or visualize. That's indeed, this is a good thing because I actually have a physical copy of the book that you cannot see because I have my thing blurred. But this thing actually has a lot of visual images in it. So telling us to put images in this is a good thing. And you get like this priority checklist, what you have to work on. And that's a really good start if you're bringing in a work in progress to just work on it. And to know where to start changing things in it. And with that, okay, with that out of the way, I would hand this over to Manon, who will likely surprise us with some magical stuff she has cooked up, because that's always the thing in these classes, that I learn a lot from the things she comes up with.
I'm not sure if I will dazzle you. I do love experimenting. I experiment all the time with Sudowrite and all the other AI tools that we have. In this one here, I was trying to see if I can get Sudowrite to work in the language of in the Ukraine. And obviously I cannot read it, but if the person with us can read that and let me know if that makes sense with what I put inside the chat in the Zoom, which I put down, write all content in Ukrainian, write a full synopsis, the shelter 7. It's an idea that I got. What I did before I go all over the place here, see if you can follow my way of thinking. See if I can get this off the way for now. So what I've done It's done writing. I think so. Okay. So at the start of it says, okay, let's ask some question to Sudowrite. And I was looking for some idea of story that people in Ukraine would love or like. So what I did is, not sure if that chat will give me all that I was doing. So I like to discuss some story idea. And here says, what do you have in mind? I said, I like a new concept to explore. And instead of giving me anything, knowing that I put everything here inside, write our content in Ukraine in every single box. Says you should be able to see what I'm doing, but did not. So it says, okay, so what do Ukraine love to read in 2026? And the answer is basically that it doesn't have real-time sale data for Korean market, but I can share the cultural and publishing pattern that people have and basically go from 2022. That's okay, that's a start. So I read everything that he's telling me about the sense of humor, which seems to be dark, and what else he says, a few things here about it. Says, okay, so from here, what do we do? So, and no matter what they say, I can tell you definitely that Sudowrite do learn from what we write, because I write a lot, and I say a lot of middle grade stories, and he bring it to all my question because he says you're working with middle grade children, blah blah blah. So here, what we can do for the Korean people. So, and it says, and I don't want to work on children's story, but I want to work on what you're telling me, the humors as survival. The Korean culture has a long tradition of satire and dark humor. This remain vital. So then he says, that element find what absurd and unbearable is distinctively Ukrainian. It shows up everywhere, up from wartime memes to classic literature. So a lot of things about soldier and trench, which kind of funny. So the soldier who was in a trench flood, who jokes about now having a pool view. A grandmother refused to evacuate because the porch, the borscht is also almost ready. A satirical song about power outage that become viral hits. So I want to ask the person which is with us, is these kind of humor that is happening in what you know around you?
Oh, yes, absolutely. That all makes sense.
Okay. Good, because I was trying to find what's the market over there. So I said, okay, this is what he's talking about. So he's telling me about the character who makes jokes at the worst possible moment. Says, okay, that can be kind of very funny. So I tried a few of the information he gave me, and I sent you that one on in the Zoom. And when I did go into the translator, I said, this is not what I was asking for. So he says, basically, he's telling me in the classroom that focus on the voice and the inner world, sarcasm exchange. It says, this is not what first draft was supposed to give me. But at the bottom, then he's starting to talk about that Baba resistance manual and things like that. And he doesn't seem to actually finish because I think it's too long what I asked to translate. So basically, this translation is what I could talk about the class. It's not really a story, is it?
Well, it's hard to tell from the first glimpse. I mean, from I think it's different from what is in Sudowrite window.
Yeah, okay. So says, okay, this is not exactly what I'm looking for. So I
Uh-huh.
went down to the next area. It says, I want to do something about the shelter 7. A basement shelter become an accidental comedy club. The protagonist, 12 years old. Okay, so definitely it went back into my middle grade stories. Max, is that a name from Ukraine?
Yeah, it's pretty much like MAX, but with the Ukrainian spelling.
Ah, okay. Start performing stand-up for the other families, blah, blah, blah. So we have a small idea of story. It says, okay, this is what I want. I did ask a bit more question, and definitely it goes with the sarcasm and the joking and the Baba Resistance Manual. What is Baba Resistance Manual? Is that something in Ukraine?
Uh, I have no idea, to be honest.
Okay, so that's a AI thing, no problem. It says, okay, so I took this, and it says, now we're going to do something with this. So I did go again inside first draft. And what I mean by first draft, so I took this part, and I think I put it in the chat too, didn't I? Let's get the chat open again. So yeah, write all, and I say, I'm going to put this one here properly. So what I do when I have zero idea of what I want to do or want to work with, I just go and click new in a blank document. And you see here on top the first draft. If you don't see it here, you go under more tools. And under more tools, you have all your plugins. And if you're brand new and you don't have plugins, you normally have Visualize, Canva, First Draft, Poem, Brainstorm, and what's the other one? Some twists and feedback. So those are the ones that once you click on more tools, you'll see right away. So I click on first draft, and in first draft, as far as I know, things haven't changed in a long time. We have first draft for a long, long time with Sudowrite. And I pass the information in, and I say pass in, and I don't click enter because as far as I know, as soon as you put enter, first draft is going to start writing. So you make sure that you write down all content in Ukraine, write a full synopsis, and then you put the idea that you have, the shelter 7. And here, if I want to, I can go and change the protagonist and give it another age. So Mark perform stand-up family, blah, blah, blah. Distract his little sister. She can be 12 if she wants to, but Mark is going to be 22. You can change anything you want, and you just click go. And this is supposed to give you a full synopsis of that little idea. And hopefully it did put the right age for Max. The thing with when it's writing, we cannot go anywhere else. We might be able to go inside the genre. So this is basically a, no, I cannot go. I cannot move. If I try to move, it's fighting me. So what do you read so far? I know it's going fast. Sorry about that. But does that look like a comedy slash synopsis?
Yeah, I kind of like this synopsis.
Good. I will share it with you in a sec as soon as it's done. And this is from there that I go, no matter which language I write in. When I like what I see in the synopsis, I go and develop the synopsis. From here, that's where my story is going to start. I just let it finish. There we go. So it's done. And I will share this one with you. That's a funny thing, in that language, it doesn't give us a title. Normally it gave us a title. So I'm going to ask here, can you please Give me a, why it's not typing? Okay. First, I think we have to say, yes, I agree with this. When we do the first draft, that's one thing that hasn't changed yet. You cannot copy. I click on it and nothing is happening. Beside is going to turn all blue like this. So you have to go out and come back in. And then everything is in somewhat in the black color. So here I'm going to ask you, please give me 3 titles idea for this synopsis. Obviously, you can write all that inside your own language too. And normally it's supposed to answer you in your language. So I'm going to see if it's going to give me something good, and I'm going to ask it to translate them into the proper language if it goes to all in English. Because when I write in French, I do write in here in French. And sometimes I write in both English and French, but I make sure that our magic little prompt is everywhere. Is having, okay. It's giving them in your language. So basement number 7, open mic, direct and commercial, signal episode, structure immediately. You know each chapter will be performance, the number 7 ground in a specific place. Then when the light goes out, more atmospheric, and laughter on concrete. Those are interesting titles. So let's see if I take this one here. I copy this and I'm going to go and give it a title. So now we know we're working with something here. All right. So I copy my synopsis. I will go here. There's many ways you can go about it to expand this. You can put your synopsis here in the brain dump. And you know it's a comedy, so you can put comedy, you can put it in your language or any other language. You can put dark comedy. What he says earlier, that it seems very, very strong in Ukraine. They call it, would you put just dry comedy, dark comedy?
Anything works.
Anything works. Because they're talking about dark humor. And one thing that I find out is when we talk other language, I know in French, we have some crude words for things like comedy or other kind of genre. And the AI, when you go with the really dry word that we use every day, that people know about every day, and you put them down here in a genre and a style, the AI inside Sudowrite is going to be very, is going to learn and do it very well, if I can put it that way. So let's see if we put satire and dark humor.
How do you call it in French?
Which part?
Well, that sort of comedy, you're saying that you have a specific term for it.
In French, if I was go to comédie, drôle, ridicule,
Okay.
one
Okay.
of them.
Mhm.
If you go into adult version, basically it's not XXX will be the word. It's not that at all. It's really what we say in one of the province that speak French, because of the fact that it's not a 18 plus session today. I cannot say those words out loud. But yesterday I was working with one of those stories and I put those words here. And the result was, I don't need to tell the AI what I want. He understood right away with those words. So those words that we put here in our language, definitely the AI or Sudowrite does get it, does understand. So what I do is when I put this inside the brain dump like this, basically I'm asking to rewrite or redo a new synopsis, but I base with the comedy and the satire dark humor. And I want to see what it's going to do here. Oh, that's true because there's something in it. So you have to remove this and then say generate synopsis. And because we have our little magic sentence everywhere, it's supposed to do it in Ukraine. And you can see it go and work. And it goes fast. Wow. He did a pretty nice version, I think. So what do you see here? Is it a good synopsis compared to what we got in the first place from the first draft?
I think so, yes, but again, it's like very, very fast, very general approach. So to be certain, I would have to read the whole thing. But so far, yeah, it looks better.
Okay, so when you do your own, what do you tell the AI so it gets more personal, more what you're looking for? Because it says basically it's just like it's flying over the story. It's not going in the story, if I understand what you're trying to say here. Be something like that, you would say, make it more personal and real.
Well, maybe my definition of personal and real are different, but I think it's already kind of personal and real.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. All right, so we leave it as that then. But you know how you can go and get it more personal, more real, more what you are is by telling the AI what change, what you need more inside this. And from there, because now we have all this here, we can start asking about our character. Now, again, once we done this, we have, even though it's written in Ukraine, sometimes we have to go and write it again to make sure that everything is written in there, because when you get the character here, doesn't mean it's going to write them in Ukraine. And obviously here I'm having this here, which for me, bring that inside my chat. It's not deployed to everyone, this version, is it, Dahlia?
No, it's not. It will be released to everyone maybe sometime in May. That's what Michael said yesterday. So you
So
possibly will be seeing it soon-ish.
yeah, you're going to learn something that you're going to see very, very soon is we have two different chat now. We have the right chat, which use credit. So instead of saying, which was there before, there was another word.
Before we had, let me take a look. I still have this in my teacher account. Standard and higher quality.
Yeah, the higher quality. So instead of higher quality, they put down right. And if you want not to have to pay because this cost, and when you want to know about the cost, so the chat, because I'm using the write mode, costs 4,036. Once other chat, that if I make sure I click on chat, costs 0. The first draft is very cheap, hasn't cost much at all. The rewrite costs a bit more, but the first draft is surprisingly cheap.
Yeah, I'm shocked. It's really cheap.
Yeah. So, and it's still it's still working, so we can see it's still working on generating our character. Do you have any question during this is going?
I guess just a sec. I'm sorry. I guess my question would be probably more like a comment with regard to the language use. I mean, we are to put that prompt, I suppose I should call it, what you wrote, write in Ukrainian in those square brackets. So you put it to be on the safe side, but otherwise, my understanding is that the AI clearly understands it from the context and starts writing it itself in the language that you use.
It's supposed to. It's
Okay.
sometimes it's like throwing the dice.
Uh-huh.
So right now, because I made sure if I did not put write all in Ukraine in here, I kind of guarantee you 50-50 that this part here will be in English.
Right.
So because we put in the synopsis to make sure everything is in Ukraine, our character is in Ukraine. And I'm saying that because yesterday when I did work on my story, I forgot to put write all in French inside my synopsis, and my character came out in English.
I got you. I got you.
So instead of having our writers frustrated and says, oh, why is the teacher didn't say that? No, my characters are in English, but the rest of my information, it's all in Ukraine. So I prefer to let you know right away that after your synopsis is written, make sure you put it here, because it seems that's the one which keep directly talking to the character box.
Mm.
Because this is the first thing he's going to look, is affecting character, world building, and outline. So he's not going to go and check your genre or your style or your brain dump. It's right there. So the first thing he's going to look at is character, world building, and outline from here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this little magic sentence is very, very powerful to put it right there. So we have our people here. So just for copy character, I will bring this and you can look at them on your own time. So I will pass them all here so we can copy your character. Come on. It doesn't want to give me my, there you go. No. I try to get my little to work. There we go. There we go. So you have all your character here. And let's call it Max the Connector. Cool. And I'm going to share that with you so you can see the what in character is happening. Let's get this in the Zoom. Zoom. Wrong chat. There we go. So you have this. We'll also share the synopsis. So you have that because we already passed the hour. And I'm not sure if you are interested to keep on going, because I would just go and show you how I do the world building, and after that, deciding of what I want to do with the world building and the outline. There we go. So you have that. So from this, and I'm basically going in the dark because it's not my language. I will simply go in here. Now I did copy my synopsis just to make sure. Copy this, and I will basically ask here. You can ask in chat or in write. Can you please give me all the world building required to write a bestseller
Mhm.
with this synopsis. And then I pass the synopsis in just in case. And I'm waiting for the AI to tell me that from the synopsis, what is the world building necessary to write a good story? I do that because I'm not an AI. I know what, as a person, the way our brain work when you write a story, but is the AI work like us? Probably not. So that's why I do ask that question to the AI, so I have the most possible element required to write that story. And here's basically, and that's something you're going to see in the future, you can accept all the change that he's talking about. So here's the world building that you think from this, the setting, the shelter basement with the number, the physical limits and the people and the exit and the entry of it, the war context, the social dynamic, the culture anchors. So if I say, yeah, that's good, so I'm going to copy it first, and I'm going to say, yeah, I'm accept this. So sometime when we do accept, it goes in and do it, but it's not there yet. Another time is going to do it. So what I do now is I'm going to import and bring
Right, yeah.
what,
Mhm.
pardon?
Right, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, yes. I remember it from your other class.
Ah, there you go. So you've been another of my class. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
repeating myself, sorry.
No, 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 no. I'm sure I didn't remember it from that time, but now I recall.
But so basically I'm removing the extra and I say, let's go import this. Again, the AI will check and is going to, wow, it's giving me a lot more. Shelter, time, geography, nature of the threat. So, but I like what it's giving me. So there's something important about that entry and that exit. There's the daily schedule, the Ukraine humor tradition. Okay. It doesn't tell me there's too many, so I will say go. It's going to import it. Definitely we give a lot of work to the AI inside Sudowrite to go ahead and do all that. And as you can see, they are not in Ukraine because we didn't make sure that everything was in Ukraine. So that little magic prompt should have been used here to make sure everything is written in Ukraine. So if I did the same thing with the character box, we would have got the same thing here. But we have what we're looking for. So, and I'm not going to play too much with that. And from here, we decide which novel outline we're looking for. So in Ukraine, what is the most popular outline you're using when you write a novel? When it goes for the humor sense of things?
Well, you got me. I don't know.
You don't know. So which one do you use when you write?
Which 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 one which one among what? From the ones
On the
in
screen.
this. Okay. Okay. I think Hero's Journey would be most applicable to my particular story.
All right, so let's go with this one. And do you prefer the first person POV present tense, or do you prefer to go with the third person POV
Yes, third.
third? And you go with present or past?
Past. Most of the novels here are in the past.
Okay. From here, if you know what you're talking about or what you're writing about, you can also tell them you want one POV, the
Hmm.
dual POV, or you leave it, surprise you with leaving auto.
I got. Okay.
So basically, we just click here and it says, before I generate, do you want me to do something? Says, yeah, because of that new little thing here about how we go about the
I'm sorry, where did it say that?
right here. So when I click, because I have the beta that you guys are going to get very soon, when I click generate the hero's journey, it says tell Sudowrite how to write this. It's optional. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to write all content in Ukraine
Okay.
right there and go. He's going to think and it should give us everything in Ukraine. So this is one step more that we have that we don't have before, that we can give more instruction here to the system. Or you can also ask and create a full outline under the chat in Ukraine and bring it inside the outline under the three dot. There's so many ways. It's very hard to work or show one workflow. It's like we have to, how many class we would have, like the whole week on workflow will be packed to all different workflow we can do for one story.
Yeah, you can basically have a whole hour for every section of the story Bible,
Yeah.
almost.
To show every single way you can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can barely cover everything in my 1 hour session for story Bible. It's hard.
There's a lot to be showed, and it's to try to make a workflow to show how to use it with example. This is where it's very, we need to have a lot of strategy or walk on the fact that says, okay, I'm going to show you with this story because we're going to go with that, but there's a dozen more way to go about it. So the hero's journey, how many chapter normally a hero's journey would have? Any idea, Dahlia?
I'm not sure. I haven't generated Hero's Journey in a while. I think 20-25-ish chapters.
Okay.
You can see if I
very
have a Hero's Journey.
Is reading the story Bible, is reading the character and the world building.
Yeah. Recently, I like to do story cycle because that's short, so it goes faster.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, short. I don't use a lot of the outline inside Sudowrite. Normally, I do on the side. It says, and I ask basically, what is the best outline for the story we are working on? And most of the time it says none of the outline you have in here is the one which you should have a 3-act or a 4-act with 2 scenes, 3 scenes, and it's like a bit like John was showing last week, the way he's doing some of his classes. He's having these conversation with ChatGPT saying about this story, we're going to go, and that was, what was he working on? Middle grade stories or something like that. But he had that tempo. So like chapter 1 has 1 scene, chapter 2 had 2 scenes, chapter 3 had 1 scene. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, da 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 the whole time. And instead of having the outline over here, we went down into the custom one and only put the tempo of each chapter to get a full outline generated. That was kind of interesting to see because they changed something here. Before we could basically get a outline from outside, bring it inside under custom and get Sudowrite to bring the outline properly and get it done all the way we asked to do it. Now we have to go with the 3 dots instead of the custom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taking a long time.
Yeah, thinking a lot. And Volodymyr looked it up. Hero's Journey is traditionally 27 chapters in the specific popular breakdown. 9 chapters for Act 1, 9 for Act 2, and 9 for Act 3.
So
I think I heard this somewhere before as well. But I looked up in a project, and that one had 24 chapters. So maybe Sudowrite isn't as precise with this. We're thinking a lot.
It's thinking. The outline is one of the longest one to get after we
Yeah.
get the world building. Is he has to read everything.
No, there is no wonder. Actually, it's one of the pillars of the novel. No.
Definitely.
While it's still generating, here's a question. Maybe I missed it somehow in the beginning, but Dahlia, you put in the story Bible, I think. I mean, it definitely was in the right window. You named the AI model there. So my question would be, is that how you choose that model, or you can do it from the drop-down menu in the right settings or something?
There are two places. Oh, I will just share my screen for this. Is this the right one? Yeah. There are two places in general where you can change your write model, like the model you're writing with. And for write, and this is only for write itself, you would do it here in the write settings in the prose mode.
Right.
And if you prefer to use the draft tool that's up here, you would change it here with the prose mode. But this only affects, like in this case, it would affect only draft. For write, it would only affect write. For the other functions like Brainstorm, Describe, Rewrite, they have one set model in the background that you cannot change. Same is for the story Bible generation. I'm not sure which model they use in the background for creating it, but that's also something that you yourself cannot change. That's not influenced by any of the settings you could make here or anywhere else. The only place where you can also like toy around with models is when you generate or when you create a plugin. But that's a whole other big topic that we could tackle in the next session. There are also plugin classes each Monday, since you can talk a lot about how to create your own plugins.
Okay.
Okay. How's it going, Manon? Is the outline ready? Oh, this looks like an outline.
Yes, it is. Quite extensive, I gotta say.
25 chapters.
Yeah.
Manon, you're muted in case you're talking the whole time, because I was just wondering why you're not saying anything and just showing your screen.
Oh, wow, I've been talking for nothing.
I was like, wow, okay.
It's okay.
I was a little bit confused, but then I was, oh, wait, the microphone is still muted.
Sorry about that. We have 25 chapters, and yes, they seem pretty nicely done. They're not as the meat that I'm looking for is not there. Just by seeing the size of each chapter or each part of the outline. And I was saying that that's one thing which is kind of funny, because when I write a novel, when I get to the chapter, people says, oh my God, you're writing fast, because at my chapter, they can written, and they are, the first draft of my chapter is so, I'm sorry to say, well written, that I don't have a lot to fix or change, maybe find some AIism or changing a few things, but not a whole lot, because I can spend a whole day working on my story Bible to make sure that in my brain dump is really the idea of my story. So I can do like Nicole was doing, so going in ChatGPT or any other one. Now that we have the chat on the side here, we can do all the chat over here. Asking, says, today I want to write a story about Etienne and Jose. They are in love, but I don't know where to put them in this world. And go inside the chat and says, where could we put a story which will grab the reader? And I'm going to build my story like this until I'm satisfied. And then I'm going to go and make sure I have the proper genre and the style always very small to none until I have the chapter 1 written 2 or 3 times. I can rewrite my chapter 1 2 or 3 times until it hit my liking, that really I'm not bored when I'm reading it. Because once we write 2 or 3 times the same chapter, you can get bored. But once I get the right one and it says, okay, I'm reading it all the way to the end, okay, I'm grabbed. So if I can grab my own intention and attention, then I say I have something there. So that's where I do work a lot. I make sure my synopsis is full with a lot of information. I like it with a lot more than just 900 words. I'm happy when he's over 1,000, and if he gets more, it's even better to me because I want a lot of details inside my synopsis. And then I'm going to work on my character, make sure they're all good and they are in the right spot, that their voice is all right, the way they talk, their dialogue, their location, a bit of feedback of what they were before, if something happened in their life. So I work very hard on the character. And then the world building, as I showed you earlier. Once all of this is done, sometime in the past, I don't know if you remember that, Dahlia, we used to take our character and bring everything back up into our brain dump along with our synopsis and rewrite the synopsis with our character in it.
Oh yes, that must have been long time ago. I
Yeah.
think was this Story Engine times?
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
I do that again today to make sure that the synopsis has everything in it. And then from there, I go and build my world building, make sure everything is good. And then I will chat again a lot on the side, say which one of those outline is best to make this book a bestseller now, not in 5 years, now. And from there, get a very nice detailed outline, read everything, make sure the POV and the tense are good. And as I show in my class after that, is each of them, when I create chapter 1, I will go and create my scenes. And then on the side, I will ask, what kind of extra instruction do you need to make sure we grab the reader from the first word of this chapter to the last word of the chapter? And it can give you very interesting extra instruction that you would not have thought on your own. And I put the instruction in here, and trust me, when I start writing my books, I'm hooked for the first 6 chapters. And normally it's late at night because I work all day long on my story Bible, and I can write those chapters, and I'm very taken by my own story to finish it. So use what we have that Sudowrite is giving us, the free version and the paid version. They're both good. Definitely this one, the right version, is extremely good once we have access to it and understand everything that's going on with it. So this is my spiel on how I work. So right there, I like the fact that it's giving me nice full version of scenes. And from there, I would ask the question how to write this first chapter to hook the reader right away. put it in my extra instruction, and start writing. I'm done.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
It was super interesting.
Good. Because I have no idea what's written, but I would have to go and get it translate and might work something on it. But I have to finish the other one I start yesterday, which is for adult in French. So on this, do you have more question for us?
Again, it's not language related. It's more of a technical question. I found okay. The thing is, Sudowrite is a online app, actually, right?
Yeah.
So it's got to be live all the time. And my question would be on the practical side, do you or should I actually, whenever I come up or AI comes up with a certain result, copy and paste it on some other like writing app or platform or I don't know, Microsoft Word, whatever, or how would it be in that regard? I just found out there's a also iPhone app of Sudowrite.
Yes,
Yes.
it's great.
It is
But it's more
okay.
like a companion, so you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
do fewer things with it, but it has a really good smart dictation.
I teach
And
the
yes,
app,
it's really
so that's something I can talk about, no problem. The app is fantastic. Once you have, some people only have the apps and write their whole story through the apps. Personally, I don't know how to do it because I'm so used to the full version of Sudowrite. But when I have no computer and I'm waiting at the hospital or something, dentist, I take my phone out because in your phone, once you have the app and you use Sudowrite, everything you have here, and I'm going to go even out, it's all inside your phone. So any story you're working on says, oh, I have to go and I cannot bring my laptop with me. You take it with you through your phone and you can work on every single aspect of your story inside your phone. You have to sign up at the same email address, obviously, so that they both talk to each other.
No, I understand that, but what about syncing if there's no internet?
okay.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
The
that
the
would be
synchronizing.
problematic.
Well, once you get to somewhere where there's the internet, it is going to synchronize right away.
Oh, so I can still type in and
Oh,
wait
yes.
for the signal to come back.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
gotcha. Okay, okay.
Plus, that version here, when you share item like this, so it says, okay, I'm working on this one here, and you can go over here and say, okay, I'm going to share that. You open
Oh,
it
that's right.
here.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You can go in here, says, I'm reading my stuff. You are on your phone or on someone else's computer, but you send it by emails or you have access to it. You can click on it. It's going to show up. And you can add by highlighting on the side things that you want to change. So when you come back to your computer, you go back in your computer, and these are normally showing when you do, where's that? Which one did I share? Number 4. You're supposed to have something over here which shows that someone wrote something on the side. So I haven't wrote anything, so I'm supposed to put comment. And this is untitled number 4. Which change, which is this one. And you see here,
Uh-huh.
that's what I wrote. So I can go back and says, oh yeah, I forgot I need supposed to do that. And you can go it and fix it and says, yeah, I fixed it. And then the person who or you will say that that's done, it's resolved. So there's a few ways if you don't have the connection. If you have these open inside your phone or on someone else's computer, or you send yourself a link, you can go and work on it too. But yeah, one day that would be nice to have this as an app that will stay even if there's no internet.
Oh yeah, that would be really super helpful.
Yeah. The
One
other
day
thing
we
is
can.
once you are publishing and you have another program you work. So for me, I use Vellum. So do you see my Vellum on the screen? Yeah. So for me, Vellum doesn't matter if I have internet or not. Everything I do inside my Sudowrite, when I have a chapter done, I bring them inside Vellum. So that I have internet or not, my Vellum doesn't require that because all my chapters are here, so I can work in here too. So like help yourself as much as possible so you don't lose anything or time when you're working.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that answered your question.
Absolutely, yes, yes. Very inspiring, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else we can do for you today?
No, I'm all done. Again, there will be plenty of questions later on when I am actually working on my magnum opus. But right now, I'm good. Thank you very much. It was very informative, very helpful.
Well, I'm very happy.
Yeah,
So
if anything comes up in the next no day or two, you can just drop it in the Discord study hall for this class
Okay.
so that we can see this, and then we can address it there. And there are plenty of other upcoming classes that can help you with your problems and
Perfect.
teach you just
Perfect.
how to enjoy Sudowrite and do the most out of it.
So on this, I'm saying thank you, everyone. My name is Manon Doucet, and I'm with my beautiful co-host, Dahlia. And our
Thank you a lot.
student with us was very, very educative. Even for me, I love learning new stuff when I teach in the same time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you all.
Thank you so
And,
much and happy writing.
absolutely, thank you. And I'll be seeing you soon for quite a while. I intend to go to your classes for some time again.
No problem. Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
I had a story in my heart, but I didn't know where to start. Every sentence felt wrong, every draft fell apart. Sat staring at the page like it owed me something, but the words stayed quiet and the fear kept thumping. Then I heard a voice inside me say, "You're overthinking, just put something on the page. Write it messy, write it wild, write it like you were a fearless child. Don't wait for perfect, don't delay. If you got something to say, write it anyway. Oh, 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 let it out, let it out, let it write it anyway. Oh, 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 let it out, let it out, let it write it anyway." Some days the magic shows up like lightning. Other days every paragraph feels frightening. Oh, but every page, even the ones that are wrong, are stepping stones to the book where you finally belong. So don't stop now, don't throw